Hello and welcome back to Stressed for Success. I'm your host. I'm Dara, and today's video is going to be super duper short because my other videos were super long, so bear with me while I speed through everything. So first off, sorry that I haven't actually made any videos in a long time. That's entirely my fault. I could give you the list of reasons why, but I've ultimately just been lazy and I hurt my wrist. That was recent, that's all. So whatever. Okay, so let's talk today. One of the things I have been doing a lot is working on my novel. If you are starting a novel, this is not what I'm talking about today, although this will come in handy for you as well. Well, never mind. It could go either way. Any stage of novel writing, although honestly it's better, I think, this one if you are in the process of writing your novel. I, however, am not. I finished my novel in May. Here are the details so I don't have to talk through them. Yeah, I hope I'm not ruining this for myself. Okay, so my novel obviously is fantasy, and most of, oh my god, my cats are chasing each other. Most of what I want to talk about is, well, it applies to any fiction work, but definitely I'm writing or talking from a fantasy standpoint because that is my life. I consume fantasy video games, I watch fantasy movies and TV shows and other stuff, but like really reading is like 100% fantasy, occasional historical fiction, but like if there's not magic, what am I doing? So a lot of fantasy writers will like to write their books from multiple characters' perspectives. One of the best books that I've read, especially recently, is called The Priory of the Orange Tree. I will put some information below for you, not sure what yet, but it will be down there. Regardless, oh, fast, okay, so, yeah, multiple characters, perspectives, blah, 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 blah. So even if you're not doing that, chances are you will have more characters than just your main character. So that begs the question, should you make character bios for them? Yes, you should. It's so necessary. We need to know, you need to know all of this information about your character because they're not a flat piece of paper. They are a whole person. They had a life before this book happened. They will have a life after this book happened. They have secrets, they have things that they like and don't like, and they have personality quirks. If you don't create this stuff beforehand, don't expect it to just show up midway through your novel. And even if it does, then you have to go back and add it into the beginning. And who wants to do that, right? Can you not eat bags while I'm filming? Okay, he's not listening. Okay, so anyway, time. If you don't make a character bio, if you don't know this information about your character, you will end up with characters that have no depth. They are just functioning robots in your story, or worse, they're carbon copies of some other character that you've seen on TV or you read in the book. Guys! Anyway, they'll be carbon copies of another character that you've seen somewhere else, and you know, that's trite, it's overdone, and they will be unoriginal, or they'll just be boring. And the whole point of having a story and having characters is for the readers to be able to empathize with the characters. And we empathize with them through their emotions, through how they react to the world around them and the people around them. If you don't know how those things affect them, we won't either, and we won't care. Okay, making him super sexy, like maybe I'll care a little if he dies, but I'd care a lot more if I knew that he was saving the woman that he loved. You get the idea. Okay, that was stupid, but you get the idea. So when you know your character inside and out, it becomes that much easier. Then it's like, of course, in order to join the guild that she wants to join, they're forcing her to go and rob some old lady's house, making this up. Of course Cassandra has this reaction. Of course she pushes against it. Or of course she's super eager to screw over some old ladies. Whatever it is, you know why. And it becomes automatic. That is what she would do. And when you do something that's out of character, you're like, she would never trip that child. Never. The point is, it is our job as writers to create characters that people can obsess over, adore, vilify, stand, feel sorry for. And that only happens with three-dimensional characters that are real people. That only happens when you decide on those dimensions before you write, or while you're writing, but ideally before. Okay. It's an intentional choice. You have to make it intentional. You can't just say, I'm gonna think about, Jerry's a cool guy. I think he just really likes stealing. I don't know why I keep talking about stealing. Anyway. Yeah. Sorry, my camera died. So, where was I? Ah, yes. Because trust me, if you don't, you'll end up writing one of those scenes where you feel like you need to make the character say something just so the reader remembers that they're there. And guess what? We didn't care. Right, I'm supposed to be fast. So, what is a character bio? Short answer, it's whatever you want it to be. You can write it on paper, type it on your computer, whatever you want, but it should include these key elements, which I am going to read for expediency because trying to memorize them is stupid. So, you want to include these things, at least. Their name, their age, their physical appearance, in detail here. Obviously, when you're writing, we don't need to know the exact several shades of colors in their eyes. I don't know why when people want the guy to be attractive, they put like green and gold and hazel and blue and a little chestnut brown. I'm like, I get it. He's sexy because his eyes twinkle, whatever. Anyway, sexual orientation is important. If you think that romance and lust aren't motivators for every person, with the exception of those under the asexual umbrella, you're wrong. It's involved, okay? Some personality adjectives to describe them. That's important. Get fun there. Use a thesaurus. Really try to dig in and be specific. Then we're getting to the core. So that's all the stuff that kind of describes the outer shell, I suppose, what we receive from them as viewers or readers, whatever, or you know, the people in the novel as viewers. Next is inside, internal. What do they want more than anything? Obviously within the context of the novel, not like he really wants a pony. This novel's like in the jungle, you know, whatever. What are they terrified of? Super important. That can be an internal obstacle, like a fear of failure. It can also be something external. They're afraid of their dad, whatever. But it should interfere with their getting what they want, right? It should be some kind of obstacle to their obtaining the thing that they want in this novel. If they don't get what they want, what are they afraid will actually happen? What is the result of their failure to get what they want? Okay. And that can be what they think will happen and or like actually what will happen. If he doesn't get the ring back to the mountain, they're fucked. More or less. No, entirely. Okay. And then the last thing I have is, how did they get here to their point in the beginning of the story or whenever we first meet them? So that is a brief backstory. You can note some important events that really, you know, affected them. You don't have to be like, it began in the dawn of time, and, you know, make sure you include the important stuff. Don't kill yourself writing this, but be thorough. Okay. So those of you who are actors might notice some similarities between creating a character for a scene or a film or a TV show, whatever, and creating a character for a book. That's because they're both people, right? And these are very common core elements of what makes people act the way that they do, right? Yeah, writers, actors, very similar. We are both trying to represent true facets of humanity, right? Authentic facets of humanity, because it is in viewing ourselves that we find, I don't know, whatever we're looking for. I'm not sure why we enjoy this so much, but people really do. So let's do it for them, you know? Now, if you want to go in more detail here, please do. If it's your main character, if it's the romantic interest, if it's the antagonist, please add other categories, go in more depth. One of the biggest mistakes I made when I first wrote my novel was I did not do this for my antagonist, and you end up with a guy who's just like evil, 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 evil. But like, no, he's got fears, he's got a soul, he really, really wants something, and it's not just like to murder, it's, you know. I went back and fixed that. Please do the same if you've done something similar. I also like to add in personally adjectives for people describing the kinds of people that they would like as, you know, as a person, and the kind of people they would dislike, you know. So if someone really doesn't like people who adhere to the rules, but they love people who are like free balling, that's important to note, because that way when they come across other characters in the novel, that'll influence how they see them, receive them, interact with them. Now, when you put them into a scene, there's so much more color surrounding them, their reactions, their interactions with the world around them. They're not just sitting there, maybe they're slouching there, you know, or they don't say something, they drawl something. We will talk about how often you should use speech, what are they called? Attributions, speaker attributions other than said. That's another video, but you know, occasionally if you're gonna use one, drawled, you know, that really specifies the type of person you're talking about. So, bottom line is, make character bios. It's a lot of work. It sounds like a lot of work, it is a lot of work, but writing a novel is a lot of work, and you really wanna only write it once. You don't wanna be that person like me who wrote a whole novel and then realized there were some big old chunks and gaps and planning elements that I missed, and I had to go back and essentially rewrite this entire novel. And you saw how many words it was and how many pages, so it wasn't fun. Put the effort in now to make it as truthful as possible within the realm of the circumstances you've created, obviously. So just buckle down, grab a notebook, grab a computer, grab a glass of wine, whatever helps you write, and get to work. It is a lot of hard work, but when you're done, it will be so much easier to write a story with truthful characters, truthful reactions, and an emotionally compelling story. And that's all we want. Readers understand your story through the lens that you make for them. So let's make it a dope-ass lens. Have a good night.